Whilst Brian Clough is widely regarded as one of the greatest managers of all time, an area of his career that rarely gets spoken about is his playing days. Whilst Clough did not win any major silverware during his time playing for Middlesbrough and Sunderland, he set the Football League alight, netting an astonishing 267 goals in 296 games, a career that is to the envy of many. Clough may have made his name as a manager, but were it not for a career-ending injury, he may well have made himself a legend as a player too. This is the story of Brian Clough's forgotten playing career. Brian Clough left school without any qualifications, having put his focus on sport rather than his lessons. He would turn out for Billingham Synthonia, scoring 3 goals in 4 games for the side, before joining the RAF to do his national service. Clough continued playing football, and turned out for Middlesbrough's 3rd team when he was on leave. Clough had signed for Middlesbrough as an amateur at the age of 16, but after 3 years at the club, Clough was still yet to make his debut. He grew frustrated at this, but a man who would prove to end up being a huge part of his life gave a helping hand. Reserve goalkeeper Peter Taylor, who would go on to spend many years as Brian Clough's assistant, spotted the talent that Clough had and used his influence to help Clough get a look in. Clough would finally make his debut for Middlesbrough in 1955 against Barnsley at the age of 20. A few weeks after his debut, Clough scored his first senior goal in a match against Leicester City, and it would prove to be the first of many. His first season saw him score 3 in 9 games, but his first full campaign was where he really hit the ground running. Clough scored an incredible 40 goals in 44 games, proving that his wait for a chance in the first team was worth it. Clough was setting the league alight, but sadly, things didn't go so well on the other side of the pitch. Middlesbrough were conceding as many goals as Clough was scoring, which caused tension in the dressing room. As outspoken as ever, Clough publicly accused his teammates of betting against the team. Clough submitted several transfer requests, feeling that he could do better with his career. Whilst these were rejected, his talent did not go unnoticed. After impressing for the England under-23s, he was given a run-out for the senior side. Clough would play twice for England, against Wales and Sweden. Whilst he failed to score in his 2 caps, there were many in the game who would give anything just to have 1 cap for their country. In 1961, one of Brian Clough's transfer requests was finally accepted. After 204 goals in 222 appearances for Middlesbrough, Clough moved to Sunderland for £55,000. Clough's time at the Black Cats saw him find one of his biggest influences. Sunderland's manager at the time was a man called Alan Brown. Brown was a firm believer in discipline and once fined Clough for talking to a teammate during training. Brown's style of management was tough but fair, never afraid to speak his mind, doing whatever it took to keep his players in line, whilst also treating them fairly and inspiring their confidence. This would be a huge influence on Clough, who would use a lot of Brown's principles himself. Clough continued his fine form, netting 29 goals in 34 games in his first season at Sunderland. His second season was off to a flyer, with him scoring 28 goals in 28 games, but in a match against Bury, his playing career was suddenly shattered. On Boxing Day 1962, Clough collided with Bury's goalkeeper and tore both the medial and cruciate ligaments in his knee. Clough spent 2 years on the sidelines, fighting to recover. Whilst many would have retired from this injury, Clough was not going to go down without a fight. After 2 years away, Clough came back, but soon he had to give up once and for all. He made 3 appearances after returning from injury, but soon realised it was a battle that he could not win. Brian Clough retired from playing at the age of 29. Clough spent time heartbroken at his dream falling apart, sometimes going to the bottle to ease his pain, an issue that would plague him for many years afterwards. He soon decided to enter coaching, first in the Sunderland youth team before joining Hartlepool United, with Peter Taylor joining him as assistant. What followed was one of the greatest ever managerial careers. Whilst Brian Clough's achievements as a manager will always define him, it does not mean his playing career should be overlooked. 267 goals, including 18 hat-tricks, is an incredible career for any striker. let alone one whose career virtually stopped at the age of 27. Whilst Clough's injury turned out to be a blessing in disguise, as it allowed him to start his incredible managerial career early, one wonders what he might have achieved as a player had he not had to retire so soon.